So you have to, in this activity, to start with the sentence that you have involved. For example, in the number one, the sentence involved, it says, Mick was a homeless beggar. You have to start the sentence with this one. So that's going to be the number one. This is like the last thing in the story. So you have to go like backwards. And if you remember, the past perfect is to talk about something that happened before another action. So before he was a homeless, we're going to see his story. He hadn't always been poor, okay? Why not? As he'd had a successful business. In this case, they are also including some pronouns like which, that, sometimes where, and the words that they give you also here, like unfortunately. So Mick was a homeless beggar, but he hadn't always been poor, as he'd had a successful business, which unfortunately had gone bust. So all of this is the reason that at the end he was a homeless beggar. Something like that you have to do with the rest. In the second, for example, we have to start with last night. Sally was celebrating, and then you have to explain why, no? You have to use the word because in brackets. If we have to link these two sentences, she won £2,000 in a competition. What is the order of the sentence? So okay, last night. Sally was celebrating. And then
She had won
because
1,000 pounds
she
in a
had,
competition.
okay, because she had won the money, no? Okay, the 2,000. Well, it's pounds in a competition. And that's all the sentence. In this case, we have just two pieces of information. Okay, so that's not too hard. In the number three, you have three sentences. He got up at dawn. At dawn, he was driving for 10 hours. And Peter was tired when he arrived home. So this is um, the last thing, okay, or the result. Peter was tired when he arrived home. We have to say why he was tired. So let's start with that. So Peter was tired when he arrived. And then what could be the next? He got up at dawn, or he was driving for 10 hours. What happened first?
He got up at dawn.
Okay. So Peter was tired when he arrived home, and you have to give a linker to explain why. We could use maybe as or because. And then, how is the form of the first sentence?
Um, in past continuous.
No, in simple. But this activity happened before he was tired, no? If the activity happened before he was tired, we're going to use past perfect. How is the sentence in past perfect?
Had gotten up.
Okay. He had gotten up at dawn. Yes, and then he was driving for 10 hours. How is that sentence? Can we leave it like this or we have to change it?
We can leave it like that.
Excuse me, Isaac?
The he was driving home. I think we can change it.
How?
Past.
Okay.
Past.
How would it be? He had gotten up at dawn and no?
Had rode.
In this case has to be past perfect because first he had gotten up at dawn and he also had been
After
driving for 10 hours, okay? It's going to be in continuous but past perfect. Yes, for 10 hours. For all these things, at the end, he was tired when he arrived home. So that would be if we put numbers according to the sequence of the events. We could say that this was the number 1, number 2, and finally number 3, he was tired. Okay. So the things that happened first, we're going to start with that, but all the activities happen in the past. But the activity that happened first, we're going to express it in past perfect. In the second, in this case, it was in continuous, so we have to express it also in past perfect, but in continuous. The number 4, it says, I parked my car on a yellow line. It was towed away. I went to get my car, but it wasn't there. So we have to start with this line. This is the result. The result is that my car wasn't there. Okay. So
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes.
Do we always have to change the tenses of the sentences?
In this exercise, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have to change all of them, but you have to check how you can change, how they have to be changed, and also the words that you have to use to link all the ideas together to have only one. Okay.
Okay.
So in this case, I went to get my card, but it wasn't there. We have to explain why it wasn't there, the car. And they are giving you the linking word because well, you have to decide here what is the activity that happened first. I parked my car on a yellow line or it was towed away.
I parked my car on a yellow line. That was first.
Okay, so that sentence you have to change You cannot leave it in the same way. How you rewrite it? Because that activity happened first, no? Before I went to get my car.
I had parked my car on a yellow line.
Okay. So first I had parked my car on a yellow line, and then
And it was
Been
I need
told.
we can say and, or we could say also but.
It
No?
was.
But it, or well, that could be one possibility, but it, how could it be was towed away? Also in past perfect, no? Because this also happened before I went to get my car.
It had been.
Okay. It had been towed away. That could be one possibility about that. Or instead of using but, I could use but I went to get my car, but it wasn't there because, sorry, I forgot that. Because I had parked on a yellow line, no, I was thinking about another one, but no, it doesn't match. With which? I was
Because
thinking
it
about it.
had been pulled away. I went to get my car, but it wasn't there because it had been towed away. Something like that, no?
I think this is the best.
See, yes, I'm sorry.
If we
Yes.
put which, it doesn't match very well. It's going to sound
It
like,
sounds weird. Yeah, in the other way.
okay. Well, in the number 5, they were shopping all day. They spent all their money on clothes. Jane and Dan were broke. So that's the result. Okay. So Jane and Dan were broke. And then you have to say why. Because what?
They had been
First, they had been,
shopping all day.
okay. And as a consequence of that they had been shopping all day.
Can we say and spending all their money on clothes?
And they had spent all their money, yes. As you can see, we are like going backwards. We start talking about the result, and then we go backwards saying why this was the result. Okay. So in the last one,
Teacher, other question.
Yeah.
Can we make like the third sentence part of the second? Like they had been shopping all day, spending all their money on clothes. Like
to omit
is it possible? Yeah, like it's all part of the same sentence.
Yeah, it could be to omit the second day, no? We don't have a lot of day. If you say that, we say Dan, Jane and Dad were broke because they had been shopping on the all day and spent all their money on clothes. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, we can say that to omit the second day. It's quite similar and it doesn't change the meaning. Yes, it's possible. So in the last one, we have he bought a house in Scotland. He saw it while he was driving there on holiday. And well, we have to start with last week, John moved to the house. In this one, yes, you have to use which. As you can see, we are in the second sentence, it says, he saw it while he was driving there. Okay, this is,
It happened first.
what happened first?
The sentence in the middle. He first saw it.
Okay, how could it be? So last week, okay, last week, John moved to the house
He had seen first. Huh.
Or he had seen for the first time.
Okay. John moved to the house he had seen while he was driving, or only. Yeah, you have to use all these sentences. John moved to the house he had seen while he was driving, but I think you have to mention the other one first because it says he was driving there. Where is there? Is Scotland, no? So
Yeah.
first you have to mention Scotland so you can use the second sentence. Because if we say first there, where is there? We didn't mention it before, right?
Right.
Okay.
That sentence, like, it depends of the first.
So that's why I think we have to mention first that he bought a house in Scotland. But it's very repetitive, no? If we mention again, he bought a house in Scotland. How can we put it together with this one? Last week, John moved to the house. In this case, yeah, we have to use which, no? Which he
had bought.
Which he had bought in Scotland. And then
He had first seen
or maybe we can say, and he had seen,
Or this after Scotland.
Or
that
the
had
one,
first seen.
the one have had he, oh, I don't know.
which he had bought in Scotland and had seen, no, only.
Yes.
Probably we can omit he because we are still talking about John, no?
Yes.
Yes, Isaac?
I was thinking about that. We could say he had bought in Scotland that had first seen for the first time while he was driving there.
Maybe we can put first in the middle, no? And had first seen,
Yeah, yeah, it sounds better.
and then while he was driving. Only, no? While he was driving. While he was driving on holiday. Is that right? Do you agree, Andres? We are omitting it because this is about the house we mentioned before, no? And we are omitting there because we mentioned before Scotland. So we are not using them again in this case. So you avoid the repetition. In this case, you say last week John moved to the house which he had bought in Scotland and had first seen while he was driving on holiday. Yeah, sounds less repetitive.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm agree.
It makes sense, no?
Yes.
As you can see in all the sentences here, we use past perfect or past perfect continuous in some cases, only when the sentence was in continuous. If that was in past simple, well, we were using the past perfect because it's not mentioning something that was in progress. For example, they were shopping, we say they had been shopping. Just remember that use of the past perfect is to talk about past perfect simple or continuous, something that happened before another thing that had a consequence also in the past. We're going to stop here. Next Saturday is our last class. That's why I took a little bit longer. And I want you to, let me see if I open it.
Is the next Saturday our last class? Of the
Yes, it is.
semester?
That's why I was like kind of worried not to, okay, of not ending on time or not starting. Okay, let me see.